I'm going to keep this video super simple. Here's what you need to do in your half term if you want a degree apprenticeship. So a half term is a great opportunity for you to go and get some experience. So when I was applying in my year 13 half term, I actually did an in-person work experience placement. It was a great experience that I mentioned in all my CVs and interviews, and I think it was one of the biggest reasons for me getting the job. Now, if you're watching this video, most likely that hasn't happened for you, so you haven't organized like an in-person work experience for your half term week, okay? Not a problem. Here's what you should be doing then instead. Because if you're watching this video, you just got to recognize that there's obviously something subconscious or unconscious inside of you that realizes, yeah, I'm a bit behind. I need to go and do something during your half term. That's why you're watching this video. Because if you didn't really care about it, if you thought you were all good, you didn't need to do anything this half term, you wouldn't have clicked on this video, right? So there's obviously a part of you which has sort of accepted that, yeah, I'm a bit behind with my applications, my experience, whatever it is where I need to be. So I'm going to use this half term as an opportunity to sort of get ahead. So in this video, I'm going to give you like a full checklist, exactly what you can sort of do to make the most of your half term and sort of get ahead in these applications. Just one thing before we get into that, let me introduce myself in case you've never seen any of my videos before. My name's Owen, I'm a degree apprentice and I help people get degree apprenticeships in the engineering, technology and finance industries. Here are three of my students last year who I helped get into degree apprenticeships. Maya, I helped her get into engineering company, so Rolls-Royce are an engineering company, I helped her get into a degree apprenticeship there. Then this student here, I helped her get into the JLR Software Engineering, Digital and Technology Solutions degree apprenticeship, and also Olamide here, I helped get into HSBC for the banking degree apprenticeship there. So those are my students in the engineering, technology and finance industry there. And I do have a coaching program, which if you are interested, at the end of this video, go click the link in the description, just go have a look, see if you'd be interested in it. If you are interested, that's where you get things like mock interviews with me, you get messaging with me and all that sort of thing. So these are two of my students, so I did a mock interview for them, a mock JP Morgan phone interview for them, and it really helped them, and they ended up saying that they got to the JP Morgan Assessment Centre and saying that like it was really helpful in terms of those mock interviews. So if you'd be interested, at the end of this video, just go click the link in the description and have a bit of a read about that. So without any further ado, let's go down to this checklist. So the copy of this checklist will be in the description as well. So after this video, if you want to go click the checklist yourself and go and start ticking stuff off, absolutely go for it. But I'll just explain everything in this video. The first thing you need to do, I would recommend, is doing a massive open online course or a MOOC. There's three websites where you can do these: Coursera, edX and FutureLearn. And these are opportunities where you can learn extra stuff about your industry. So most people have probably never done finance before, right? Maybe they've done economics, maybe they've done maths, but most people have never done commercial banking, or they've never done audit or whatever it is. So if you can go into a course learning for some very specific things, you're going to have that advantage. Similarly, most people have never actually done engineering before, even if they're applying to an engineering degree apprenticeship. They've probably done like maths A level, maybe physics A level, but they've never actually done like, I don't know, automotive engineering or software engineering or civil engineering. So if you can go and do a course on this, automotive engineering, go do a course on civil engineering, a course on software engineering, a course on sort of aerospace engineering, it's going to give you a solid base of knowledge which is going to help you can show off in your application and your interview. But on top of that, when I've spoken to recruiters about online courses, they've told me that it just shows you're proactive. Shows you're proactive, you're dedicated, you've got a willingness to learn. These are traits that recruiters really like to see. Okay. The next thing would be to go and complete a virtual work experience program. So, like I said, we're in my October year 13 half term, I went and did an in-person work experience. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you obviously haven't managed to get that in-person work experience placement. No worries, this is where the virtual work experience can come in. Okay, so go and do a virtual work experience program. A lot of these you just sort of need to sign up, fill a short application form, and then you sort of get given the sort of virtual work experience for you there. So what I've done is I've collated a list of some of the best work experience which are available right now, so you can come down to the Notion document, click this one. But sort of key websites to look at are SpringPod, Speakers for Schools, and also do some Forage job simulations as well. Those are good ones. If you can get one or two of those under your belt, that'd be really useful. So I'll give you an example. In year 12, my February half term, I think I did about 2 SpringPod work experiences during my February of half term. And that was a really useful experience, and I did actually end up mentioning those in a lot of my applications, so it's really good to mention these. Again, it shows you dedicated, it shows you proactive, but it's also going to give you knowledge about the industry, about the company, and about the subject you're applying for. Now, courses and virtual work experiences, they can be fairly long. They can be 8 hours, they can even be more than that. So a really sort of high leverage one that doesn't take up too much of your time is go and do a webinar. Okay, so go and watch an industry relevant webinar. If you're applying to engineering, go do an engineering webinar. If you're applying to tech, go do a tech webinar. If you're applying to finance, go do a finance webinar. And this might be an hour long, might be 2 hours long max, but it's like you're then going to have an entry you can put on your CV, like a bullet point you can put on your CV saying you attended this webinar, this is what I learned, da da da. Again, it's the same thing as before. It's going to show you proactive, it's going to show you dedicated, you're committed to learning, you're committed to development, and it's also going to give you loads of technical knowledge. So, for example, I went and sort of watched like a bunch of webinars by BMW essentially, and that was taught me loads of stuff about electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, and this sort of thing, which I was able to then go and mention in my applications to companies like Bentley and JLR, for example. Okay, so I've put a couple on here for you in different sectors. But what you can do is honestly just go and search like a big company plus webinar. A lot of these big companies sort of run these series of webinars. So for example, Goldman Sachs, they have like a whole section on their website just dedicated to loads of webinars they've done with random people. Same with EY. Just think about some of the big companies in your industry, put their name and then put webinar after it, put it into the Google search, have a look through what comes up and see if there's anything that interests you. Now, a really high leverage task to do during your half term now is to finalize your CV, okay? So some people may have started it, but it's not completely ready. Maybe you've been procrastinating it. Go and do it now during your half term. You've got a great opportunity. Okay, if you haven't even started your CV, then you need to get that started. And this video here walks you through exactly the process. You can literally just follow it step by step with that video and it'll teach you exactly how to do it. But go and get that CV finalized, okay? The reason it's important to be doing this stuff during half term is because I'm sure you're aware, especially when you're in year 13, you got your A levels coming up, so that'll be May or June. So you're going to be revising maybe May, April, March, whatever. You might have mocks in January or November or something like that. So there's going to be a whole load of work. Once we get into the new year, once we get into 2025, loads of companies doing their interviews in January, February, March, all that sort of thing. Once we get there, it's going to be very busy. So you want to use the time you've got now. It's like you don't want to be finishing your CV in January. Get it done now while you have the time. You don't want to be trying to do a work experience in January. You want to be doing it now. Okay? So if you're procrastinating, that's fine. Just procrastination. Go and procrastinate tomorrow. Do your CV today, then just procrastinate tomorrow, okay? That's a good mindset trick for you. Just procrastinate the procrastination, okay? It's the exact same with your cover letter as well. If you're sort of got a draft copy of it, go and finalize it. Go and spend a couple of hours on it, okay? If you haven't even started a cover letter yet, then again, you can watch this video here and that will walk you through the exact process of writing a cover letter. Go and do it. And honestly, these ones aren't too hard. Like, if you've been procrastinating these, you haven't done them, right? It's not even that hard. You can genuinely lock in for 2 hours and get your CV done. Like, you can lock in for 1 or 2 hours and get your cover letter done. Just sort of no distractions. Put your phone away. Turn off notifications. Not getting phone calls from anyone. Just sort of lock in for 1 to 2 to 3 hours of complete focus, and you can have your CV and cover letter finalised there. The next thing would be to start learning about the next stage of the application process, okay? Because some people leave it too late. So it might be February or March, for example, when you have an interview. There are some people, this was my experience of when I was dealing with a lot of people last year, they'd sort of start thinking about interviews like a week before their real interview, like a week before. And they do like a mock interview or something like the day before their real interview. The day before, like they did nothing beforehand, then all of a sudden the day before they're doing a mock interview, sort of expecting, oh yeah, in this last 24 hours I'm going to become an absolute killer at interviews. It's like, that's not going to happen in the last 24 hours. That's what I'm saying. Use the advantage you have now. Use the half term. Use the time you have available now. And start learning about these different parts of the application process. Yeah, they may only be happening in January, February, and March. For a lot of these assessment centres for companies like engineering, technology, finance, they might be in January, they might be in February, they might be in March. It's a long way away. But if you start now during your October half term, it's going to give you, what, 3 months? 3 months minimum of preparation. And that's going to be what's going to sort of help you stand out. Because degree apprenticeships are super competitive. There's some degree apprenticeships, only the top 3% of candidates get in. Sometimes only the top 1%, top 0.7% of candidates get in. Most people are probably not doing that much preparation, maybe a couple of days before, maybe a week before they're thinking about it. So if you can be the person who's done 3 months of practice, then you're going to be in a really good position. Okay, so start learning about the next stage of the application process now, whether that's online interviews, online assessments, group exercises, presentations, interviews, case studies. Start learning about it now. Okay? This video here, I teach everything you need to know about each part of the application process. Okay, and in particular with interviews, this is, I think, one that's really important because interviews, you want to make sure you're practicing well in advance. I've linked 2 resources for you here. This is to help start scripting out the answers to common interview questions. Because with degree apprenticeships, in sort of every interview, they do have sort of a list of common questions they like to use. Obviously, they also do sort of random ones and new ones which you need to be prepared for. But it's like you can probably prepare for a good number of questions beforehand that they're always going to sort of ask in every interview, like why do you want the role, why do you want a degree apprenticeship, what are your strengths, etc. So prepare for those. Start scripting out your answers for those so they are ready. Okay, I've linked 2 resources here. In particular, I'll just show you this one as well. So there's the common questions like why do you want to apply for this role, why do you want to work here. There's also questions called STAR questions. And STAR questions are essentially where they start with a scenario. Tell me about a time when, tell me about a time when, tell me about a time when. And you have to come up with a situation, task, action, result. So this is a table. I've linked it here. This is a table where you can literally fill it in with your situation, with your task, with your action, with your result. That's going to plan the answers. Because let's say I just were to say to you right now, let's just say right now, when you're watching this video, we do a degree apprenticeship interview right now, okay? And I ask you the question, tell me about a time when you saw something unsafe. Give me the answer back right now for this video. You've probably got no idea. I'll be honest with you, 99% of you probably don't have an answer for that. Like, tell me about a time when you saw something unsafe. And the reason for that is these are questions you can't come up with on the top of your head. When it's a question like, what are your strengths? Okay, you could probably work something out up on the spot. These questions you can't, because you have to think of a scenario that's happened in your life, and it's not always obvious. Okay, let's do another one. Tell me about a time when you came up with a creative solution. Answer it back to me now. Okay, some of you might have had a good answer there, but majority of you wouldn't be able to have thought of anything because you haven't planned this out. My most successful students from last year, the ones who I helped get into JLR, helped get into Amazon, I'd give them a table like this in my coaching program and they'd fill out the whole thing. Because when they go into these JLR or Amazon interviews or whatever company it is, it means when they ask a question like this, they've practiced it because they've thought about their scenario. They know, okay, this is the situation, this is the this task, this is the action, this is the result. They know what they're going to say. Boom, say it. There we go. And the people who go into interviews and they don't do well is the people who couldn't be bothered to spend like an hour on this. Genuinely, this is an activity where you can just lock in for an hour and get it done. So that's what I'd recommend doing during your half term. If you can set a goal to complete this, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then practice your interview answers to yourself over and over and over and over again until you're literally bored out of your mind. Until you are literally bored out of your mind. I was on a coaching call with one of my students in my coaching program yesterday, and he had an interview today. So I went on a mock interview with him yesterday, and he had the interview today. Essentially, he hasn't messaged me yet, so I don't know how he's been and that sort of thing, how it was. But essentially, we were going through some of the common questions, which were I basically predicted these are the common questions that I think are going to come up based on the information they've told you. And there are like sort of 4 key questions I told him to practice. And this is what I said to him. I said, lock yourself in a dark room, okay? No distractions, nothing. Go on your phone, set a timer, 20 minutes, okay? So I've given him this list of 4 questions. This first question, you're going to set the time for 20 minutes. You're going to give your answer to this question. When you're done, you're going to do it again. When you're done, you're going to do it again. When you're done, you're going to do it again. When you're done, you're going to do it again. So whether it's a 3-minute answer, it's like 3 minutes, boom, do it again, 3 minutes, boom, do it again, 3 minutes, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, until your phone like buzzes and starts ringing for like 20 minutes. Okay, that's the 20 minutes up. Then what you're going to do is you're going to move on to the next question. Exact same process. Deliver your full answer. Immediately after, deliver your full answer again. Immediately after, deliver your full answer again. Immediately after, deliver your full answer again. Immediately after, deliver your full answer again until your phone buzzes at 20 minutes. 99% of people aren't going to do this because it's boring, it's brain numbing. TikTok's more inviting, yeah, sure. But also getting into a degree apprenticeship that pays £25,000, that pays £30,000 is more inviting than go to university. So if you want to get a degree apprenticeship, you're going to have to put the work in. So it's like you've got students of mine who are putting in that much effort. They're getting on coaching calls with me. They're getting on mock interviews with me. I'm giving them these strategies. They're actually implementing these strategies. And they're going to be the ones getting the jobs compared to the people who aren't investing their time. They're not investing their effort into actually trying to do well in these degree apprenticeships. So that's genuinely what I do. Script out your answer to these common questions and then just go over them over and over and over and over again. This is how I got good for my interviews. That was it. It was literally got a list of the questions, scripted out, planned out my answers, and just rinse and repeat. Just again and again and again until when they ask me, what are your strengths? Boom, easiest question I know. I made a video last year. I'll actually show you it. I doubt many of you will have seen this video because it was a decent time ago. It was sort of when I was helping people through the application process last year. So I actually filmed this video and some of my students from last year actually watched it and it helped them in like their assessment centres and that sort of thing. I think one of my students who I helped get into Amazon, he actually said like this specific video was really helpful for him in his Amazon interview and his Amazon assessment center. It's this one here, the assessment center, why I scroll on my phone as practice. The point I was trying to make here was your interviews and also your presentation as well, but we'll stick to interviews. But you want your interview answers to be so on lock and ready and easy that you can literally scroll on your phone while you're doing it. So I'm pretty sure in this video what I did was I think I gave myself like a mock question. Okay, so I had to answer a question like, what are your strengths? Why do you want to do a degree apprenticeship? And as I was giving that answer, I was scrolling through my phone. I was like scrolling through YouTube, looking at stuff. I was actually multitasking, and I was still able to give the answer. Now, I'll be honest, most of you, I give a question to you, like, why would you like to do a degree apprenticeship? Most of you have no idea what you're talking about. Let's just be brutally honest. You're going around stuttering, you don't know what you're talking about, your answers, it's ums and ers, you're hesitating, all this sort of stuff. When that's your full 100% focus, you can't even answer that question. But basically, where I got to was I got to a point where I'd practiced this question so much that it was literally using like 10% of my brain. You guys use 100% of your brain and you still can't answer this question. I would be using 10% of my brain and I can answer this question because I drilled it so much. This isn't me being better than you or anything like that. This is literally just me practicing it. It's like you practice it, you can get to this level. Like you can have this answer so well ingrained in your memory that it's literally on autopilot. That's what I call it, autopilot. I could give these answers on autopilot whilst I'm actually focused on like scrolling through my phone and looking at other stuff. And it's literally I'm just repeating just what I've said in my mind. I'm just sort of reporting it out. I'm not even consciously thinking about it. It's just autopilot. So go and have a watch of this video actually after this video here, and that'll sort of go into more detail about this scrolling thing. But that's what I recommend. Start learning about it now so you're ready. Start scripting out your answers now. And then just do that thing. Practice your answers over and over again until you're bored out of your mind, till you can scroll on your phone whilst doing it, till it's the easiest thing ever. Okay, so the checklist, you'll find this checklist in the description if you want to go through it and sort of tick off the different things. At the end of the day, honestly, the people who are going to be most successful and who are going to get the most out of this October half term are the people who go through and complete as many of this stuff as possible. Like, there's going to be people watching this video who, okay, they watch to the end, fair enough. Congratulations to you. But then you don't take action, you don't do any of this, you sort of, half term, you just sort of waste your half term. It's like, it might feel good now because it's like, oh, this half term I'm just going to go on my phone all day or do some random stuff or whatever. And it's like, okay, fine, it'll feel good now, but it's like, what about that feeling on in like on a cold day in February when you get rejected from your dream degree apprenticeship, or in March when they sort of call you like a week after your assessment center, you did the assessment center for your dream company, they call you back a week later. They're like, "Hey, yeah, we just want to tell you your results. Is now a good time for you?" You're like, "Yeah, no, 100%. Now's a good time." So how was it? So yeah, unfortunately, and then the moment you hear the word unfortunately, you know it's a wrap from there. It's like at that point you might as well hang up the call the moment you hear the word unfortunately. Imagine that. Do you want that to happen? Do you want to be there on results day in August and basically you know you're going to university at that point and sort of going into the debt or whatever because you didn't try hard enough? So it's like the people who are going to be most successful are going to tick off as many of these as possible. It's like I'm going to like you could literally predict who's the people who are going to get offers, and it's going to be the people who have all of these ticked off by the end of half term. The people who probably aren't going to get offers is the people who didn't do all these stuff. Okay, so that's just my sort of warning to you. I made like another video about it here. This is another like one you can sort of check out if you haven't seen it already. 18 minutes of raw and unfiltered advice to aspiring apprentices. That was just a raw video where I was just saying, essentially last year, I was getting emails from people who they didn't put enough work in and they regretted not putting enough work in, and now they didn't get into a degree apprenticeship and they regretted it. And so for them, it's either go to university for a year, get into that first year of debt and reapply, or it's take a gap year and reapply, but then you're essentially a year behind everyone else, a year behind on your like your life essentially. And basically, this video here was just a warning, like you don't want to be that person in August. You don't want to be that person in September 2025 who has to go to university because you didn't work hard enough. Like you don't want to live with that regret of not having worked hard enough. Like you could have achieved it, but you didn't. Just because it was some stupid social media thing that distracted you. Yeah, this video got a bit deeper than I was expecting. To be honest, this was supposed to be just like go through this checklist here, and it's like, yeah, guys, come and do this one. But it's like, I'm just being honest with you guys. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna keep it unfiltered. It's like there are people who get to a position 11 months, 10 months from now, and they regret what they did now. So just put in the hard work now, and then your future self will thank you. and just break it up. Break it up so it's not like, okay, 12 months of hard work. No, because it's like, well, your A levels are going to finish in like June, right? So to get to June, that's like 8 months of hard work. Okay, but don't worry about it all the way till June for now. Let's just think about when you're getting your degree apprenticeship. Your degree apprenticeship offers you're probably going to get in March, right? So let's just focus on that first. Let's forget the A levels for a second. Let's just go until March. So it's 5 months of hard work I want from you. Okay, well let's just forget the 5 months. Let's just break it down into, let's just get to the end of the year. Let's just do 2 months of hard work. Okay, that's it. Okay, but it's not even 2 months of hard work. I just want you to do hard work during this half term. Okay, 1 week of hard work. Okay, 1 week of hard work. So forget like 8 months, 12 months, whatever. Just focus on this 1 week and get what you need to do done. Yeah, that's my checklist. Okay. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Hopefully that helps you, and I hope as many of you as possible take this checklist seriously if you are serious about degree apprenticeship. If you don't care about degree apprenticeships, then I don't know why you've watched this far into the video. Like, I appreciate the watch time you're giving me, but okay, fair enough. If you don't want to do it, then fair enough. But this is just what I'd be doing if I was trying to maximize my chance to get a degree apprenticeship, because you don't want to go and regret it in 12 months' time, essentially. So, yeah, if you are interested in sort of having coaching calls with me where I'm going to help you, some of the students who I helped last year got into companies like Amazon, JLR, KPMG, for example. If you are interested in that, then you can go click the link in the description and you can sort of sign up for a consultation call with me. We'll see if you're a good fit for the program. If you're a good fit, we'll get you onboarded and I'll start helping you sort of one-to-one with your degree apprenticeship applications. Okay? So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it gave you value, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye bye.